Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for another webinar on the Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Today, we are going to talk about cyber liability insurance. I have a guest over here, uh, Oliver Huang. The topic is cybersecurity risk insurance, which is commonly called as cyber liability insurance. The question many business owners often ask is, do I really need it? Is it an investment or another one of those mandatory insurances that government forces us to take, like workers' compensation insurance or business insurance? And what is this and what protection it provides? So if you pay attention to some of the statistics available from reliable sources, you can see that there was a loss of $7 trillion last year in 2019, and cyber attacks were increased by 725% over the last 10 months during this COVID period. So today we have the guest, Oliver Huang. He's a good friend of mine, and he's talking about cyber liability insurance. Oliver has been in the insurance business since 2013. He truly enjoys helping people protect and grow their assets. Prior to insurance, he worked in the high-tech insurance industry like many other in the Silicon Valley. His technical background allows him to relate and communicate effectively with many highly educated clients in this Bay Area. Oliver and his team believe in educating his clients on the proper coverage instead of fixating on the price. I personally have heard him comparing buying a helmet to buying an insurance policy. Do you look at the price or the quality when you get a helmet for your kid to ride a bicycle? That's the question which he often asks, and it struck me as a very valid point. So today, I will hand it over to Oliver. And Oliver, please take it away.
Thank you, Duleep. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share the importance of cyber liability insurance with you and your guest.
So, thank you, Oliver. Before you continue, one more information for all the guests.
Yeah.
Please use the chat window if you have any questions. Drop us your questions in the chat window. I will get Oliver answer that. Thank you. Sorry.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about cyber liability insurance. And so before I jump into cyber liability, I just want to highlight the concept of what cyber liability is, what cyber liability isn't. And the first thing I want to do is talk about general liability. Most of you, as I understand, are business owners. And so you're familiar with general liability. General liability, one of them is trip and fall. Let's say, for example, this owner of the restaurant had a wet floor and the customer walked by and they slipped and hurt themselves. So this would be covered under general liability, okay? Or it could be a IT company, or they go out to do the wiring for their clients, and their Ethernet cables on the ground tripped over their employee. So these will be covered under general liability. Another aspect of the general liability is product liability. Some policy would include that. So you're looking at the photo of a hoverboard. When it first came out, we hear on the news that during charging, the battery, this toy caught on fire and burned down the Christmas tree. And another example is what we heard maybe 2-3 years ago, the Takata, I think the airbag company from Japan, causing injury or even death when the airbag was deployed in Honda and Acura. So these are covered under general liability, okay? What about cyber liability? Many people thought, well, the credit card information is now stolen. So me as a business owner, I'm just gonna reimburse you for that $1,000 of a fraudulent fraudulent charges on, when the thug went on the shopping spree online. But in reality, there's more to that $1,000 we're talking about here. Okay. First of all, when there's a breach, you need to hire a forensic expert, an IT expert, for example, Duleep, to identify what data has been compromised, what has been stolen. Was it just credit card numbers, or was it date of birth, or was address, maybe social security number? Maybe it's a hospital where medical records have been compromised and being sold on the dark web. So you need to spend money to have an expert do the investigation to see the depth of the damage. You also need to hire legal advice to inform you what you need to do next. Depending on the industry you're in, you may be required to notify every single client who potentially have been affected by the breach. And you may also have to notify the government agencies. And in some incidences, you have to purchase credit monitoring for all your affected clients. And last time I checked, credit monitoring service from LifeLock is $10 a month. And depending on the states, some require 1 year, some require 2 years. So each person, each victim, or each client of yours that may be affected is $120 per year. And imagine if this clinic, this business has 5,000 of their clients' data stolen. That's a large sum of money you have to pay out just to meet the government requirement, what you need to do when you have a breach, okay? Next is, now your reputation has been tarnished. What are you going to do? You want to restore your clients' trust in you. You need to hire a PR. Maybe you need to hire a crisis management company to help you, restore that image of yours. And you may also have to call all your clients or send out letters or emails to them and notify them of the loss. So paying money to the call center. So this is additional area that you have to spend money on. Okay. If you're in the healthcare industry, there's a federal law that passed in 1996. It's called Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, as some of you may know. They have stringent requirement on how you need to, as a hospital, as a clinic, as a dentist, what you need to do to safeguard your clients' data. You need to have encrypted computers. You need to have regular assessment of your network. So when you're in violation of that, when there's a breach and they come checking and find out that you haven't done what you need to do to safeguard your client's data, there's hefty fine associated with that. Okay, so this represents the lost income when you have a breach. Now your clients have turned away because they don't trust you, and you lose thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of income because of the breach. Okay. We often hear, last few years we hear ransomware. They encrypt your computer or the hospital computer so you couldn't access your patient's data. And what you need to do, you need to somehow restore the data, either by paying them or not paying them. You turn to the expert instead, and the cost of restoring your data, that's additional cost. If you as a business want to transact using credit card, there is a payment card industry regulations you also have to follow. And when they find out that you are the point of where information are being stolen, and they come checking and find out that you're not adhering to the compliance, very stiff fines from $5,000 a month to $100,000 a month fines until you have being compliant once again. Okay, and if you have to pay for ransomware, if you have to pay for the ransom because they encrypted your computer, so these are the areas where potentially you're going to be responsible, or it's going to come out of your pocket, and not just that $1,000 example that I mentioned in the beginning. Okay, the next slide is a very typical coverage for cyber liability insurance. It covers these 8 areas, and pretty much we just discussed. So the first one is legal liability response. When things are stolen and they're being fraudulently used, you're gonna have to pay for their loss, your client's loss. And the privacy breach response service, as we mentioned earlier, you need to hire a call center to help you make the phone call. If you have 1,000 customers as a business owner, you're not gonna have the time to sit there and make phone calls or send out compliant letters to your clients. You hire somebody to do it. You hire somebody to put out marketing to reassure your clients or future clients that you are taking this seriously and you're doing everything you can to prevent this from happening. Okay. See regulatory defense costs and penalties. You could be sued by the clients and or by the government, and defense costs, the attorney costs and all the penalties that's associated with it. Coverage C will help you pay for it. Coverage D, we didn't talk about it. This is website media content. So if you ever get sued by others for, say, piracy or plagiarism or copyright, not that we intend to do that, as a business owner, but if that happens, you need to hire an attorney to defend you. So coverage D will help you with that. We'll pay for that. Okay. The coverage E is what we mentioned earlier: payment card industry compliant fines. And I think some of the important things that I listed here is you need to build and maintain a secure network systems. You need to hire the right IT expert to help you with that. You need to implement strong access control measures, and you need to have perhaps even annual reviews on your equipment, whether it is caught up with the virus out there, the criminal activity, cyber activities out there, because all the tactics of the cyber criminals, they don't stay the same. They continue to evolve, and you need to have the right software, the right hardware or firmware to firewalls to help you prevent from being attacked. And okay, F is the cyber extortion reimbursement. Like I mentioned earlier, ransom. If you have to pay, it's gonna actually be covered under F. Okay, data protection restoration. If your computer information has been encrypted or deleted, you have to somehow go through your archive and restore them, and all the extra costs will be covered under G. And H, pretty self-explanatory: the loss of business income as a result of being attacked. Okay, so it's very high level. I want to just discuss very high level here today. So these are what you will look into when you talk to your insurance broker, your insurance agent, about cyber liability, and hopefully you have a better idea. So the important takeaway is, that all business are at risks. Okay, no matter you're a restaurant or if you're an engineering firm, or a dental office or a CPA, you have a lot of clients' data, from their tax records, Social Security, medical. You need to think seriously about how to protect them. Okay, so cyber liability insurance will allow you to minimize the effect, should that happen. But it's not a replacement for having the right protection in place to safeguard your customers' data in the first place. And so, do we have any question, Duleep?
Yes, yes, there is one question.
Right.
It is from Avi Gingold. He is asking if a company already offered identity theft protection to their employees, would that decrease their premiums?
Will that decrease the? Sorry, the company offers identity theft to
Employees.
to their employee.
Yeah.
But this is the service for the employees.
This is a service for the employees. Will it decrease the premiums?
I don't know. I can't speak for the other carriers. I'm with Farmers Insurance, and I don't believe that question has ever been asked. So if they didn't ask it, my take is, that would not affect the premium. And actually, in Farmers, because it is so important, back in 2012, this cyber liability is built into every single general liability policy. So basically, it becomes an endorsement in the general liability. The example I give to my client or whoever is interested is, it is so important they built in. You don't have an option, but there are options to increase the coverage level. But at least you have some level of protection. Just like automakers, they put in seatbelt because it is so important. They don't ask you if you want it, but it is built in. But the question to answer is, I don't know if, at least we don't have it. I don't know about other carriers, whether that would give them the discount or not. Okay.
Yeah, again, seatbelts are mandatory, whereas cyber liability insurance at this point is not mandatory. It may change in the future, right? If it may become a part of the general business policy.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Because even in the last 10 months, the compromise, the hacking has gone up like anything, 725% according to FBI. And out of that, a few victims are sufficient enough for the hackers. And in fact, I read yesterday, a hacking organization, they are donating money to the charities for a children's hospital.
I see.
So, thank you very much. If there are any other questions, please feel free to put in the chat. We will get Oliver to answer that. All right. Thank you very much, Oliver. Hey, before I let you go, we offer a $25 Amazon gift card to the participants, to one participant. So today your task is to select the winner. So you can pick a number between 1 and 16.
You mean I get to pick?
Yes.
Between 1 and 16?
Yes.
I'm gonna pick 4.
All right. Okay. It is Avi Gingold who is the winner. So congratulations, Avi. And Avi has another question. Does this coverage also cover the data recovery from a data crash? That's a very good question. Thank you.
Does this cover from a data crash?
Yes.
It has to be a cover loss. Okay. So because we're talking about cyber liability. So if it is as a result of a cyber breach or cyber crime, then it will be covered. But if it's a product failure on the hard drive, then likely it's not going to be cost. It's going to be covered. Okay.
So the protection in your list, the G is data protection restoration from a cyber attack perspective, right?
Correct.
Not from a hard drive crash.
Correct.
So are there any other policies or something which covers such data losses? Is it a standard part of standard business loss or business insurance?
If you have a business property,
Correct.
because a lot of the business policy, they combine the general liability and business property coverage. So your business property coverage might include, say, for example, a stolen hard drive. But if the nature of it is simply that it crashed and you lost your data, there may be coverage for the lost data retrieval, yes, but the broken hard drive that now you need to replace it, that likely will not be covered by the business insurance, right? But the retrieval of data might be included, yeah.
Okay, again, it depends on the policy. Yeah, Avi just made a comment that data recovery can be very expensive. Yes, it is absolutely true. Data recovery is very expensive. So in my policy or my world, I would say having a backup of the data is the safest. A tested, reliable backup is very important for your data. And that is what you should be focusing on rather than having a recovery. I know it is very costly. Some of our clients who don't have backups, they come to us and ask, hey, I lost my hard drive at my home computer. What do I do? I would say, no, as a business, we will cover your data or we protect your data from being lost by hard drive failure or anything. But if it is by mistake, your home computer don't have a backup, it's out of our reach. So have a backup which is reliable. That's very important. And take multiple backups every day. If you are a regular user of the computer, and the policy is, the government recommended policy is 3-2-1. That is 3 different types of data that is in 2 different medias. One is a hard drive and something other than the hard drive. And third is an offsite backup. So that is keep the data, a third copy of the data offsite. It could be a cloud and it could be in a data center where you keep your data. And there are some people who do that by taking a hard drive to another place. So that is the 3-2-1. And that is the 3-2-1 methodology of backing up. So that's what I would recommend, at least 3-2-1. If it is 4, it is even better. Thank you. And if there are any other questions, if there are not any other questions, thank you, Oliver. And this is perfect and a 20-minute concise cyber liability insurance overview. And if anybody wants to contact Oliver, please ping me and I will forward his information to you. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone.